fill these boxes what Pradeep did for preparing, for practicing, for pulling himself together. So a case study like this may come, or sometimes I may ask questions about what are the three P's, what do you mean by three P's, or what is meant by preparing, what is meant by practice, give some examples. So anything I can test from this area. So read these also, right? Read the case study and read the three-piece document. So all these things are available in your LMS. And lecture videos also there, so you can watch the lecture videos. So I think there are some, yeah, 3 videos, so you can watch and you can get the knowledge. So that is networking skills, right? Okay, then data collection assessment. I am now checking the data collection sheets. So I will give the marks after checking whether you have done correct work. Then planning skill was taught by Kirtigamis. Time management skill also Kirtigamis. Negotiation skill also Kirtigamis. Then my section, marketing skill. So I did this in our auditorium. We had few sessions. So I will now go to marketing skills slides. So marketing skills, we saw about the basics. What can you market? And then after that, I explained the differences between traditional marketing and modern marketing. Then I explained some important terms of marketing. So you saw about market, then you saw about marketer, you studied about seller, who is a buyer, who is a consumer, and who is a customer. So you should know the definitions of these. You should be able to differentiate customer from consumer, buyer from seller, market from marketer. So you should know these definitions very clearly. Then we saw about marketing plan, contents of marketing plan, then objectives analysis, then mark customer mix, environmental analysis, right? Marketing mix. So this is another important part, marketing mix. Every past paper, I normally give a question in this particular section. So you should be able to develop marketing mix for a product, right? So I will tell the product. For example, I can tell you mobile phone, or I can tell you a clock, a watch, right? Right, a motorbike, right? So any product I can tell. So for that product, you have to develop a marketing mix. So you have to explain the product elements, you have to explain what is the price you are going to tell. Price means so many things, discounts, right? Free offers, so credit terms. And you have to tell about the place, number 3, place, how you are going to deliver it. And number 4, promotion, how you are going to promote the product. All these things we explained clearly, we discussed clearly in the class. So what is product, what is place, what is promotion, what is price. So I told you what comes under product, what comes under price, what comes under place, and what comes under promotion. So using these knowledge, you should be able to develop a marketing mix for a product. I will give the product, then you have to develop the marketing mix. So that normally this question comes every year. So to check your ability to develop marketing mix, right? So and then there are four P's. And I told you in the class, in addition to four P's, when it comes to service sector, you should know about seven P's. So the first four P's is product, price, place, promotion. Anyone tell me what are the other three P's?
අද කවුදද? හැබැයි ෆ්‍රයිඩේ තමයි ඊට පස්සේ IT එක. එදාට ඇවිල්ලා පාඩම් කරගෙන යනවා IT. ඔබට මම ඒක තමයි කිව්වේ. IT වලට දවස්
Right. So what are the other three P's? Can anyone tell me? I asked the same question in the classroom also. Four P's means product, price, place, promotion. Seven P's. So what are the extra three P's you should know when it comes to service sector? Yes, thank you for the answer. People, process, physical evidence. Yes. So people, process, physical evidence. So you don't need to study about those things, right? You don't need to study what comes under people, what comes under process, under physical evidence. No need to study, but you should know the seven P's. So you should know what are the seven P's you have to know: product, promotion, price, place, people, process, physical evidence. That knowledge you should know. Right, then other things. Okay, so those are the main elements in marketing skills. So networking skills and then marketing skills. Right. So now at times I have two other skills, financial skill and managerial skill. Unfortunately, I did not have time to discuss about those things in the class. So therefore, I have uploaded the notes and the lecture slides. So those are very easy. You can just go through those slides and you can understand what it is about, because financial skills already you have studied in your first year, first semester, and also in second semester. So I don't need to repeat again those aspects, right? So you should know how a businessman can do basic financial calculations to run the business. So I will show you the slide now. So I will do one example sum, then it may help you, right, for your exam. So this is the financial skills PowerPoint. So it is there in the LMS, so you can find it. Some basic notes and some questions with the answers. So all these questions and answers you have already studied in other subjects, other accounting subjects. So therefore I don't repeat it. So there is BEP analysis, break-even point analysis, some questions. Right. So today I will explain about this particular sum. You also can help me. So then if you have any doubts, I can clear it, right? So first we will do this small exercise, then it will help you to get some knowledge. So I will give some time. First, read the question. I will give 1 minute, read this question, then quickly we can go to the requirements. Hope you have read the question. A welfare society has decided to print a handbook containing advices to protect from COVID-19 virus. So assume the COVID-19 virus is still there. So a society, a welfare society, they have decided to print a handbook, right? So that handbook has all the details about the protection. So now they are going to distribute this handbook free of charge. So that free of charge they are going to give to the persons in quarantine centers with a pair of gloves and a face mask. So they are going to give 3 items: handbook, pair of gloves, and face mask to each patient, right? So, but this is free of charge. So therefore, they need some sponsorship. Therefore, a soap manufacturing company has agreed to provide a sponsorship fee of 1,500 for each beneficiary participating in the program. So if 10 beneficiaries are participating, are receiving the book, then the soap manufacturing company will give sponsorship for 10 participants. So that means 1,500 into 10, 15,000. If there are 100 patients, they will give money for 100 patients. So that is their agreement. So that is they are doing as their CSR, and welfare society, they are going to print the book and issue free of charge. That is the program plan. So now they are giving some estimated cost. Number one, you have to get some advice from doctors to prepare the handbook. So advice is 30,000. Then number two, you have to print the book. So one book costs 700 rupees. So each book costs 700 rupees. Then number three, editing cost. So there must be some editing, cutting and pasting, right? Adding images. So that editing cost is 25,000. Then number four, cost of writing a chapter. So for writing one chapter, you have to give 10,000. So it says handbook has 7 chapters. So you have to pay 70,000. Then number five, cost of drawing pictures. So there is a perfect artist. So he will draw the picture. So he is getting 10,000 for that. Then number six, typing cost per page. Page typing cost is 300 rupees per page. So totally one book has 50 pages. So therefore 50 into 300 is the total cost. I think 15,000. Then the next one is cost of a pair of gloves. So one pair of gloves is 100 rupees. Finally, cost of a face mask. So one face mask is 200 rupees. So these are the cost information. Using this information, you are going to answer the following questions. So before going to the questions, please tell me what are the fixed cost in this list? What are the fixed cost in this list? Okay, I'm getting the answers. Very good. Doctor fee. Yes, doctor fee, advising fee of the doctor. That is a fixed cost. Fixed cost means irrespective of the number of books, you have to pay the cost, right? Whether you print 10 books or whether you print 100 books, whatever the number is, but you have to pay 30,000. Even if you don't print, you have to pay it. So doctor fee 30,000, right? Okay, then yes, very good. Editing cost. Editing cost, that is common. You don't need to edit each book. You have to edit only once. So editing cost is 25,000. Very good. Then cost of drawing pictures. Yes, of course. Cost of drawing pictures 10,000. That is a fixed cost. What else? Doctor fee, editing cost, cost of drawing pictures. Yes, chapter writing. Very good. Writing a chapter. So you don't need to write chapters for all the books. You will only write once, right? Then the other work is printing only. So here the detail says there are 7 chapters. So one chapter writing cost is 10,000. Therefore, totally 10 into 7, 70,000 is the writing cost. Chapter writing cost. Very good. Right. Then other things are variable cost, right? Printing cost 700 rupees. Each book you have to print, so 700 per book, variable cost. Then pair of gloves. So you are giving pair of gloves. So 100 rupees per one pair. That is the variable cost. Then face mask. That is you have to give one face mask with a book. So that is variable cost 200.
200.
Then what
Then what?
about typing cost? Yes, typing cost. Will you type every book? No, you will type only once. The first time only you have to type. Once you have typed and once you have done proofreading, then they will do only the printing work. No need to type for every book. So typing cost also a fixed cost. It will
And
happen
typing cost.
only once. So one page you have to pay 50 rupees, sorry, 300 rupees. Totally, the handbook has 50 pages. So 300 rupees into 50 pages. Total typing cost is 15,000. It is a one time cost. 15,000 you have to pay only once. That is the type. Okay, so that is fixed cost and variable cost. We'll see the question. Number one, total fixed cost and the variable cost per beneficiary. So that is what we have discussed. Total fixed cost and the variable cost. So question number one. So the first question is you have to write the fixed cost. So I will put the heading fixed cost. Then under that you have to type what are the fixed cost elements. For example, doctor fee, editing fee. What else? Doctor fee, editing fee. Then chapter writing. Chapter writing. Then cost of drawing. So I will write short. Cost of drawing. Then typing cost. I hope there are 5 fixed cost elements. So 30,000, 25,000. So doctor fees 30,000, the editing fees 25,000. Chapter writing. So one chapter 10,000. There are 7 chapters. So 10,000 into 7, that is 70,000 is the chapter writing fees. Drawing cost, it is 10,000. Then typing cost, one page 300 rupees, total number of pages 50. So 300 rupees into 50 pages, that is 15,000. So the total fixed cost is 150,000. So similarly, you have to find out variable cost per beneficiary. So that is the printing cost and pair of gloves and face mask. Those are the variable cost. Printing cost is 700, pair of gloves 100, face mask 200. So total variable cost is 1,000 rupees per beneficiary. So these are the answers for the first question. Fixed cost and variable cost per beneficiary. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Then the next question, I am going to the next question. To cover the total cost of this program. So to cover the total cost of the program, number one, the expected number of beneficiaries. So to cover up means there should be no profit or no loss. That is the point. It's called break-even point, right? So they are asking indirectly, they are asking the break-even point. Break-even means they should have enough money to cover up the fixed cost, right? So to cover the total cost of this program, number one, expected number of beneficiaries. So in other words, they are asking the break-even point. So can anyone tell me, if you want to calculate break-even point, what you should know? What is the formula? You have studied this already in cost accounting. Yeah, very good. MS33, correct answer. So I will go to Excel. So question number 2, part 1, they are asking to cover up the cost, expected number of beneficiaries. They are asking the expected number of beneficiaries, or in other word, BEP. So you know the expected number of beneficiaries. If you want to find out, you should have the formula of the break-even point in units. So that is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. That is the formula. Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So here we already know the fixed cost. We have found out that is 150,000. So therefore 150,000 divided by what is the contribution per unit? That is the next question. What is the contribution per unit? So what is the formula for that contribution per unit? Yes, very good. Contribution per unit, selling price, sales price minus variables cost. Sales price minus variable cost. That is the standard formula for contribution per unit. But here we are not selling anything, right? Here we are only giving the handbook for free of charge. But for each handbook, we are getting sponsorship fund from a soap manufacturing company. That sponsorship fund is we have to treat that sponsorship as the sales. Therefore, I am rewriting this. Rather than sales price, I can tell sponsorship. Sponsorship amount minus variable cost. So that is, the sponsorship money for each person, they are ready to give 1,500. So they are paying 1,500 for each beneficiary. So sponsorship fund is 1,500 minus variable cost, that also we have calculated 1,000 rupees. So our contribution per unit is 500 rupees. For each unit, it contributes 500 towards the fixed cost. Right? So now we have the answer. So substituting the answer in the previous formula, fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So 150,000 divided by 500, the answer is 300. Sorry. So the expected number of beneficiaries is 300. If we have 300 beneficiaries, 300 patients, if we can give the pair of gloves, hand hook, and face mask, and we can cover up the fixed cost, right? At least we must have 300 beneficiaries. Then only we can cover up the fixed cost. So that is the question. That was the question. So we have found out the answer. So students, have you understood this? If you have any questions, you can ask now. So second question, to cover up the total cost, the expected sponsorship from the soap manufacturing company. So totally, what is the amount of sponsorship they have to give to cover up the total cost? So that is very easy to calculate. You know that we must have 300 beneficiaries. So if there are 300 beneficiaries, what is the amount of sponsorship? That is the question. So expected sponsorship in rupees, that is equal to, we need 300 beneficiaries. So they are ready to give 1,500 per beneficiary. So total is 450,000 rupees they have to give us. If they sponsor 4,50,000, then we can cover up all the cost. That is our break even point. So that is question number 2. So if you have understood, please put yes in the chat box. Okay. So as most of you have understood, I am going to question number 3. Question number 3, the expected number of beneficiaries to obtain a surplus of 100,000 to the welfare society fund from this program. So now we have calculated the break even point. To cover up the cost, we must have 300 participants. But the welfare society fund, they like to have additional 1 lakh, right? So then only they can use that money in for the future activities. So that is the question. If you want to have extra 1 lakh from the sponsorship, then how many beneficiaries you must have, right? So extra 1 lakh you are going to earn. That is the question. So question 3, you need expected number of beneficiaries to earn, we tell the term surplus, to earn surplus of 100,000. This is a society, non-profit organization. So we don't use the term profit loss. We use the term surplus deficit. So here they would like to have surplus, extra 1 lakh. So what is the formula for that? So Yes, MS33, what is your doubt? Do you have any questions or problems? MS33, you raised your hands up. Okay. So you know that to calculate the break-even point, this is the formula. Fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. This is to calculate the break-even point. Right now, our question is break-even point plus additional 100,000. Therefore, a small change in the formula, fixed cost plus expected surplus divided by contribution unit per unit. So this is the formula. Fixed cost plus our desired profit, our expected surplus. We have to add both and then divide by contribution per unit. So you know our fixed cost is 150,000 plus expected surplus is additional 1 lakh divided by, you know, the contribution we already calculated 500. So then that is equal to 250,000 divided by 500, that is equal to 500 beneficiaries. If we have 500 beneficiaries, 500, then we can cover up the cost plus we can earn additional 100,000. So that is the idea. That was question number 3. If you want additionally 1 lakh, how many beneficiaries you must have? I hope you have understood question number 3. Then the last question. Now this is a different scenario. The sponsorship money is 900,000, right? The soap manufacturing company, they are giving you 900,000. So now the question is, what is the profit? So the question is the surplus that could be obtained by the welfare society fund. So if they give you 900,000, what is your surplus? That is the question. So question number 4. So they are giving you 900,000. Then what is the surplus? That's the question. If they give you 900,000 sponsorship, what is your surplus? Right. So to answer this question, it is easy if you can find out CS ratio. That is also a term that comes under this break-even point analysis. CS ratio. CS ratio tells what proportion of sales is the contribution. For example, if the CS ratio is 0.25, that means out of sales contribution is 25%. If the CS ratio is 0.52, that means out of sales contribution is 52%. That is the CS ratio interpretation. So how we can calculate it? C divided by S. So that means contribution divided by sales, right? CS ratio. So we have to calculate CS ratio first. So that means our contribution, the contribution is 500 rupees. The sales. Here there is no sales. Here you have to tell it is sponsorship. So mistakenly I have written it. In our situation, it is sponsorship. Contribution divided by sponsorship. So 500 divided by 1500. So that is equal to 0.333. So 1/3. That is the CS ratio, or you can tell 33%. In whatever form you can tell, right? So that means, what is the meaning of this? Out of total sales, contribution is 33%. That is the interpretation. Right, sorry for that. Okay. So out of total sales, contribution is 33%. Now we know the total sponsorship. Out of total sponsorship. So total sponsorship, so they have given in the question, that is 900,000. If the total sponsorship is 900,000, then what is the contribution? Anyone? CS ratios tells 33%. So what is the contribution? So your answer is very close. So that is 900 into the answer, right? It is exactly 300,000 rupees. Yes, correct. If the sponsorship is 9 lakhs, then contribution is 33%. That is 300,000, 3 lakhs. That is the contribution. So then it is easy to calculate the profit. So what is the formula for calculating the profit? Profit or surplus. If it is a non-profit making organization, we have to tell it is surplus. So to calculate the profit or surplus, the standard formula is contribution minus fixed cost. So here we know the contribution, we have calculated it. Contribution how much? 3 lakhs. So we calculated 3 lakhs. Fixed cost, we already know 150,000 from the first question. That was the answer, right? Yeah, 150. Fixed cost is 150. So then what is the answer? Final answer? Surplus is 150,000. That is the surplus. So this was the question. Question number 4. So they are giving 9 lakhs to you. If they give 9 lakh sponsorship, what is the surplus? So if you want to find out the answer, first of all, you have to know the CS ratio, that is 33%. Then using that, we can calculate the contribution amount, that is 300,000. So if you know the contribution amount, contribution minus fixed cost is the profit or surplus. So 3 lakhs minus 150,000 is equal to 150,000, which is your surplus. So these are the 4 questions that were asked from that exercise. So have you understood this? Put yes in the chat box. Right, most of you are giving yes. But there was a question how to calculate contribution in this. So contribution here we have found out as 3 lakhs. How we found out? Using the CS ratio. If we know the CS ratio and if we know the sales amount, we can simply calculate the contribution, because CS ratio is equal to contribution divided by sponsorship or sales. Sponsorship amount already we know 9 lakhs, that is given in the question. Sorry, 1500 per person, that was given in the question. Contribution per person we already calculated here. Contribution per person we already calculated, that is 500 rupees per beneficiary. So 500 per person divided by 1500 sponsorship amount, our CS ratio is 0.33333. So that is approximately 33%. Now the meaning is, out of the total sponsorship, 33% is the contribution. So therefore we know the total sponsorship is 9 lakhs. This was given in the question. So out of 9 lakhs, divide into 33%, our contribution is 3 lakhs. If the contribution is 3 lakhs, 3 lakhs minus 150,000 fixed cost, our profit is 150,000. So this is how you calculate your profit or surplus. Okay, so I go back to the slides. I wanted to explain how to do the sum. So no worries, answers are there in the slides. Right, so all the answers are there in the slides. So these slides I have uploaded in LMS. In LMS, you can see lecture slides. So here you can find out the question. In addition to that, I have given 2 practice questions. So that also you can practice. So I will show you the questions now. So this is that file, practice questions. There are 2 questions and working solutions also I have given. So this is the second question with the solutions. So you can do and practice and check your answers, compare your answers with this. So altogether you have 3 questions. So you can practice that for financial skills. So there was a request to upload the previous year past paper. Okay, I can upload that also. Then the last section you have to study is managerial skills, right? So in the beginning of today class, I played a video about 10 managerial roles, right? So you can see the lecture slides. Functions, roles, and skills of managers. So there you can understand this. So I am focusing on these roles. Managers' roles have been categorized into three sub roles: interpersonal, informational, decisional roles, right? So interpersonal means relationship between manager and other people. Informational means that role is about sharing information, and decisional means about decision making. So in these three subcategories, altogether there are 10 roles. Right. These are the 10 roles identified by Henry Mintzberg. If you are a manager in future, you should know. If you are not even manager, if you are a business person in the future, you have to uh, have these 10 managerial roles. So number one, interpersonal roles. Under that, there are three roles: figurehead, leader, and liaison. Figurehead means you have to be the head of the organization, right? You have to be the role model, right? You have to be a role model for inside of the company and also for the outside of the company. That is figurehead, right? Then number two, you have to be the leader. You have to lead your team. You have to motivate and you have to guide your employees. Then number three, liaison. Liaison means you have to communicate between or within your organization. You have to make communication within your organization and outside your organization. That is the liaison. So you have to be responsible for a liaison role also. Then the second category is informational. So number one, you have to be a monitor. You have to observe what is happening inside the organization. You have to observe what is happening outside the organization. You have to collect the necessary information from internal and external sources. That is monitor. Then number two, disseminator. You have to share the information with others, right? Monitor means collecting information. Disseminator means sharing the information, right? Then number three, spokesperson. So you have to, right? You have to speak about your company to the external people. You have to represent your company. For example, if there is a media conference, you have to represent. You have to represent the company. You have to talk about the company to shareholders. You have to talk about the company to, say, maybe in courts if there's a court case, right? To external other groups. If there is a strike, you have to be there in for your company and you have to talk for your company. That is the spokesperson. And the last one is decisional role. You have to make decisions. Under that, number one is entrepreneur. So you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to create new ideas. You have to create new products, new service process. You have to introduce changes within the organization. That is entrepreneur. Then number two, disturbance handler. If there are problems in organization, maybe strike, maybe some accidents, maybe disputes, so you have to handle it. You have to mediate. You have to solve the problems. That is called disturbance handler. Then the third one is resource allocator. You know resources are limited. So you have to determine where you want to allocate the resources in the best possible way. It may be finance resources, it may be human resources, or any other capital resources. So you have to allocate resource in the most effective and efficient way. Then last one is negotiate. So you have to negotiate, maybe within your team or outside your team. You have to negotiate for better deals, negotiate for low prices, negotiate for quality prices, negotiate for employer salaries. So you should do the negotiation within and outside the organization. So these are the 10 managerial roles you have to showcase when you are a business person. So therefore, under managerial skills area, I am focusing in this particular section. So study about this. You should be able to explain about these 10 roles, or you should be able to do some matching questions, whatever. You should clearly study about this, right? So that is managerial roles. So I have uploaded a video in the LMS, so you can watch that video as well. So there is a video Mintzberg's 10 managerial roles. So these are my areas. So I have given you some ideas and small recap. So that will help you for your final examination. One question was to upload the past paper. And your paper will have MCQs, true false questions, fill in the blanks, matching questions. So normally we set the paper like that. Okay, I will now upload last year past paper. In the top section, past paper of uh, 2019-20. So here I have uploaded the past paper of 1920. One student requested it, so I have uploaded. That was not 1920, that was 1819 paper. 1920 paper. Here it is. Yeah. So I will upload the 1920 as well. So you have two papers. This is 1819. right? So you have two papers, 1819 and 1920. So just download the paper and see. You can find similarities between questions. You can find differences between paper module setups. Okay, that's all. So I hope you have understood, you have got some idea about your paper structure, and you have understood, you have got some recaps about my sections. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask now. Otherwise, I wish you all the best for your exams. So do well. Only 2 hour paper. So do well and get good results, right? So if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Thank you very much. And now, okay, good night, right? Here it is 11 o'clock. So it's a good night to you all.